Hello everyone. Welcome back. Today, we've got some crucial news you don't want to miss. Let's dive right into the top financial headlines and break down what's happening. As I mentioned yesterday, today we'll hear from two prominent officials from the Federal Reserve. Their speeches will help us understand why the Fed decided to cut interest rates by 50 basis points, and they will also discuss the reasoning behind future rate adjustments and their areas of focus. This is crucial for gauging the pace and intensity of potential future rate cuts. First up is Raphael Bostic, the president of the Atlanta Federation. His main point today is that significant rate cuts can boost the labor market. He noted that the recent 50 basis point reduction exceeded expectations, primarily aimed at protecting employment. However, he indicated that discussing the next rate cut is premature, and he explained why a smaller initial cut of 25 basis points wasn't chosen. He said, "My lingering concerns about inflation might have led me to consider a smaller initial move, like 25 basis points, but that would overshadow the growing uncertainties in the labor market." This perspective reveals that many Fed officials are noticing signs of weakness in the labor market and are concerned about it. Bostic's comments may heighten worries on Wall Street, as investors fear a recession. He emphasized that the Fed shares this concern, suggesting that the market shouldn't celebrate the 50 basis point cut as a sign of economic strength. Instead, the main goal of this cut is to prevent a downturn, a message that clarifies why the Fed took this action. Looking ahead, the pace and intensity of future cuts will depend on the labor market and overall economic conditions. Many experts are warning investors not to bet against the Fed, as history shows that large banks typically align with its policies. Next is Austan Goolsbee, president of the Chicago Fed, who has a different focus. While Bostic discussed the rationale for the 50 basis point cut, Goolsbee is more concerned with the timing of future cuts, particularly next year. He predicts more cuts in 2025, beyond the 3 expected this year, which would total 100 basis points. Goolsbee boldly stated that the benchmark interest rate needs to drop significantly to stabilize the economy and support the labor market. He cautioned that if labor market conditions worsen, the Fed might cut rates faster than suggested by Chair Powell. From these two speeches, it's clear that changes in the labor market will be the primary basis for the Fed's future rate decisions. Understanding these dynamics isn't just speculative, it's about engaging with the realities of the US economy and labor market. This dialogue between regulators and investors is highly significant. In today's second important news, Bloomberg reports on the precarious state of the Eurozone economy, which is fueling expectations for faster interest rate cuts by the European Central Bank, ECB. The report highlights that business surveys indicate an unexpected contraction in the Eurozone. Notably, Germany's yield curve has inverted for the first time since 2022, and the sharp decline in economic surveys seems to provide the ECB with justification for quicker cuts, at least from an investor's perspective. Whether this means another rate cut next month is still uncertain. The market currently estimates a 40% chance of a rate decrease. However, the region's Composite Purchasing Managers Index, PMI, unexpectedly dropped significantly today, prompting expectations for easing to rise from 38 to 43 basis points by the end of the year. This suggests that larger measures could be considered in the December meeting. The same sentiment is affecting the bond and currency markets. Following the release of data from S&P Global on Monday, a key part of Germany's yield curve has normalized, leading to a decline in the euro. SPS data indicates that September's economic weakness is largely due to a reduction in the boost from France's hosting of the Summer Olympics, with the services activity index falling well below the critical 50 mark. Meanwhile, Germany's struggling manufacturing sector has pushed the overall Eurozone index down to 48.9, while economists had anticipated it would be at 50.5. I'd like to share my thoughts on this news. Last week, The Economist published a challenging article that I didn't cover here, but I encourage anyone interested, especially students of economics, to look it up. The article poses a significant question: why is Europe lagging behind the US economically? It suggests that the US economic model has undergone profound changes, particularly after the 2008 financial crisis, while Europe has not adapted its model decisively. This widening gap is concerning. I welcome opinions from readers, especially those living in Europe, to share their thoughts in the comments. In today's third important news, CNN reports on the headline Ukraine's Zelensky arrives in US to present a victory plan to defeat Russia, highlighting his intention to seek rapid NATO membership and push for the lifting of restrictions on Western long-range weapons. Zelensky posted on X, stating, "We have arrived in the United States. The main objective is to strengthen Ukraine and protect all our people. This war can only be ended with a just peace through global efforts. Everyone who values life can help, and the most effective help is determination." Ukraine's victory. After arriving in the US, Zelensky quickly traveled to Scranton, Pennsylvania, where he visited a local munitions factory. This army ammunition plant is one of the few in the US producing the urgently needed 155mm shells for Ukraine and has ramped up production over the past year. So far, Ukraine has received over 3 million of these rounds from the US. During his visit, Zelensky delivered a simple message: "Thank you. We need more." Zelensky's visit to the Scranton facility is just the beginning. His main focus in the coming days will be addressing the United Nations and meeting with US leaders to seek further relaxation of restrictions on Ukraine's use of Western weapons against Russian targets. Last week, NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg also called for NATO countries to lift these restrictions. Additionally, the European Parliament held a non-binding vote in which 425 members voted in favour and 131 against, urging EU nations to remove limits on Ukraine's use of Western long-range weapon systems. I want to share my thoughts on this news. Zelensky's victory plan is significant and deserves attention. He has announced plans to communicate not only with President Biden and Vice President Harris, but also with Donald Trump. However, a pressing issue for Zelensky is that if Trump were to win the election, US policy towards Ukraine could undergo a major shift. Therefore, Ukraine may need to prepare for this possibility and have contingency plans in place. In today's fourth important news, Reuters reports on the headline exclusive, Iran's guards ban communications devices after strike on Hezbollah. The article describes how officials have revealed that, due to concerns over Israeli infiltration, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, is conducting thorough investigations of its members. Two senior Iranian security officials told Reuters that following a deadly attack last week, which involved thousands of pagers and radios used by Hezbollah members, the IRGC has ordered all personnel to cease using any type of communication devices. One security official stated that the IRGC is undertaking a large-scale operation to inspect all equipment, not just communication devices, noting that many of these devices are homemade, while others were imported from China and Russia. Iran is particularly worried about Israeli agents penetrating their ranks, with spies potentially operating within Iran. This has led to extensive investigations into senior members of the IRGC, including scrutiny of their banking accounts both domestically and abroad, as well as their travel histories with family members. The Iranian Foreign, Defense, and Interior Ministries have not responded to requests for comment on these security officials' statements. I'd like to share my perspective on this news. Iran seems shaken by the recent string of explosions involving Hezbollah. Their concern lies in the extent of Israeli infiltration. How could agents sell pagers in Lebanon and yet no one noticed that these were linked to Israeli operations? This raises significant questions about how many Israeli agents might still be embedded within their system. As a result, the IRGC is initiating a major purge and review at higher levels to root out these alleged spies. However, this could also lead to power struggles and political infighting within the IRGC, making it a situation worth monitoring closely. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.